Hello, it's Charles Fockaert, September 10th, 2018. Tomorrow is a big day, the anniversary. What is it now? 17 years. 17 years since 9/11. And if you still think 19 Arabs with box cutters pulled off 9/11, you might be wrong. You might be duped. In fact, I'm sure you are, but that's not the topic of this video. This video is on the invasion of Europe, the white Europe, and the Caucasian United States and Canada. We're being invaded, folks, and I want to go. Before I do that, though, I want to say something. I lived 13 years outside the United States. I lived in Nicaragua, in Thailand, Qatar, and South Korea. So I've traveled all over those areas. I've been in every country in Central America except Panama. I travel all over Asia. And when I lived in Bangkok, when I lived there in Thailand, and I lived in Hua Hin especially, I saw the American influence coming in, the corporate America coming into Hua Hin. Hua Hin is about a 3-hour drive south of Bangkok, and it's on the coast there. On the Gulf Coast, and that's where the king of Thailand lives. That's where the king of Thailand has a palace there. Of all the places to live in Thailand, that's where he chose to live. And I saw American corporate franchises coming into Hua Hin area there, and I said, oh man, they're gonna ruin Hua Hin. And that's one of the things about going into another country. You want to be able to experience their culture. And I was there to teach English, and after I was there a little while, I said, you know what, I don't even want these people to learn English. It's going to change their country too much. It's going to change who they are and what they are, and the influence of the Western world, especially the corporations. It was hard to continue doing what I was doing, but I had to make a living. So, and who am I is going to be able to prevent what's going on in the world, right? So you let it go, but it's sad, and it's probably worse now. I've been gone for quite a few years, so it's probably worse now. And the point I want to make is the United States is being invaded, particularly the United States and Europe and, Canada. The Western world is being invaded by third world peoples. And I've said it many, many times. Go back on the videos. The United States is a third world country. And what we're doing is we're allowing third world people to invade our nation, our country. And it's not going to stop anytime soon unless we do something about it. And we don't see, the Caucasian race doesn't see the inherent evil in what's going on. We're a naive, open-armed type of people. We don't like to be called racist, bigots, haters. We just can't handle those names. Watch my previous videos. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. We've gotten away from that. Now words hurt us. We just don't want to be called racist and an anti-Semite and a bigot and a hater. But it's not hate to love your own race. It's not hate to love your own race. That's what a racist used to mean, that you love your own race. I learned how to be ethnocentric when I lived in Korea. The Koreans taught me how to love my own race. It's sad that I needed a non-white peoples, the Koreans, to teach me to love my own people. But that's where I learned how to be a, quote, racist, South Korea. South Koreans take care of their own people, folks. Same thing in Qatar. The Arabs take care of their own people. And the Caucasian race, what do? We take care of everybody else first. And anybody that thinks we should take care of our own people is called a racist. Let's go have a look at Jeff Rense. Now I'm gonna get a bunch of flack on Jeff Rense. Hey, Jeff Rense is an news aggregate, and I haven't been there in quite a while. I went there this morning, and this is what I found. So let's go have a look at that, shall we? So here we are at Rense.com. I'm going to read this. The Black, African, and Arab Muslim invasion of America and Europe. Trump is bringing them in. They're not coming to assimilate, but to conquer. We're being invaded. We're being invaded. And you social justice warriors, you're going to wake up too late. I've done another video on the Camp of the Saints. If you haven't read that book and you're concerned about what's happening, the fact that we're being invaded here in the Western world, Europe, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, United States, of course, other European countries, we're being invaded by non-whites. The United States is already a third world nation, third world country, and we're bringing in more third world people, and it's going to bring our country down quicker, and it's going to take quite a bit to overcome this and to undo it. A stitch in time saves 9, and we're not going to be able to patch this up, folks. I'm just going to scroll down, and I'll read a few of these. There's a video here. This one right here, you might want to come back. It's a year old, but that's an insider. Explains what's going on. We're being invaded. They're being the invaders are being given Social Security number and passports. But hey, a lot of you people are okay with that. Stone Age Muslim stabs, wounds 7 in Paris. A month of Islamic hell in America, August 2018. Zionist Jews in Germany whine about Germans protesting third world Muslims destroying their country. Sweden Democrats leader gets ISIS death threat. Minnesota appeals court upholds sentences for 3 Muslims. California Muslim thug guilty of trafficking girl since 13. Muslim in army pleads guilty of supporting ISIS. The Europe Muslim catastrophe, critical mass reached. Germans killed by Muslims, highest in years. Germans free 10-year-old Muslim boy after raping a classmate. And by the way, Germany is allowing in all these third world invaders, and yet they've got Monica and Alfred Schaefer in prison for what they think. They don't agree with the Holocaust, the official story of the Holocaust, so they are spending their time in prison. I got a letter from Monica Schaefer, and in the corner she said day number 217, and that was about 6 weeks ago. 217 days behind iron bars, folks. For what? For her thoughts. Okay, we got some hope here. Sweden's anti-immigration party set for record wins as election a few days away. We don't want to live in Mideast and Africa. That's the Czech PM. Muslims don't like the food set fire in Greece. And it goes on and on. You can come back. You know what I've noticed is a lot of these people, these Caucasians that are pro-immigration and we're all melting pot and all this other baloney, their exposure to third world countries is they fly down to Cancun and they lay on the beach for a few days, and they are in this little world that was basically a white world created in a third world country. Or they fly off to another third world country and they spend a few days, and they're tourists, and they have a good time for the most part, but they don't experience life on an everyday basis in a third world country. You shall know them by their fruit. Third world countries are third world countries because they have third world people in them. And we're being flooded. Europe and the United States, like I've said, is being flooded, invaded by third world people, and they're going to turn this nation further down the slope into third world territory. We're already there, folks. We're broke. We have a corrupt legal system. We have corrupt politicians. We have corrupt judges. There is no rule of law. Our economy is nowhere near as healthy as they say. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all illusion, and we just hide it better. I used to say this overseas all the time to the people, the Europeans I met there and the Americans. The United States is the most corrupt country on the level playing earth. We're just better able to hide it, but now it's starting to come out, isn't it? It's starting to be obvious to everybody that we are so corrupt, and it can't go on much longer, folks. And when this all unwinds, can you imagine what life is going to be like in some of these third world cities? These, well, let's be frank, the shitholes here in the United States. You got Detroit and Philadelphia, East Los Angeles, Southern California. I lived there in the 60s as a young man, and it was a nice place to live. And now the mestizos have taken over, and they have taken over. My high school, West Covina High School, graduated in 71, was 99.9% white. Today, 99.9% Mexican and Asian. You go and there's a graffiti everywhere. My mother had to move out of her home in West Covina in the mid-'80s because she didn't feel safe there anymore. Folks, we've lost parts of our country. And in Trump, I want to mention Trump. He's not doing squat. Yeah, you're going to say the judges are doing. He's not going to stop it. And, so much for the wall. We don't need a wall. I got a video there. We could stop everything if we wanted to, but we don't want. Our government doesn't want to stop the immigration. They want the votes. They want the low-cost labor. They're turning this country into more of a third world country. But hey, how many times you got to say it? Most of you who watch my channel on a regular basis, you get it. I'm telling you, after having lived in 4 third world countries, Korea maybe second world country, you're not gonna like the future that your children and your grandchildren, our grandchildren, have to live in. You better start speaking up. You better insist that this stop. The invasion of our formerly white nation stop. That doesn't go on in Japan. You go to Japan, who do you see? You see the Japanese. You go to Korea, what do you see? You see the Koreans. You go to the Philippines, what do you see? You see the Filipinos. You don't see the Muslim, you don't see the black Africans, you don't see the Arabs, you see the Filipinos. I want to make it clear here, I have nothing against third world people. I just think they should stay in their own country, in their own culture, in their own society, and let us stay in ours. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting this channel. May the grace of God, the Father of Abraham, Isaac, the Anglo-Saxon race, the Scandinavians being invaded, the Germans, the French, all the rest of us, may His grace be upon us all, for we most certainly need it. See ya.